Welcome back, my tenacious traders. Love having you guys here. Again, my name is Charlie Gangloff with Growing Ganglofts and Back to the Future Trading. So hopefully you watched our quick introduction video, sporting the Phillies gear because we're about to go to the World Series. I apologize if you're not a fan. But today, I promised you guys a video on RY and what we're about. So I'm just going to do a really quick overview with you guys, a little PowerPoint. So follow through with me. But RY is mostly because of the big banks and the institutions out there. Okay. Now, don't go too crazy. Don't go reading this. All right. It's not time to read it yet. It's just a little teaser. There's a lot going on there. But what I want you to think about while we're looking at this is just simply yourself. Do you believe that the markets that you trade are truly random? Do you really believe that they're just based on the heat index outside, or the storm that's coming, or the milk shortage because of the blizzard, or the unemployment report, which is what we'll get to a little bit later on here? Or do you believe that maybe there's a little bit order behind it? Are you like my pops who thinks that both the market and professional sports are fixed? Sorry, pops, love you. Keep the fight going. But seriously, serious question: do you think that the markets are actually random? Okay, so we're going to go over a couple things really quick before we get into it. I want to go over a couple definitions, just in case. I'm hoping we are pulling in some new people here that maybe have never traded before, and I'm going to help you get there. So when we talk about institutional traders, they are your big banks, your big conglomerates like your Goldman Sachs, your James P. Morgan, people that are trading with millions and millions of dollars in stocks, to where the person like you and I that's trading maybe 100 stocks, maybe 10, maybe $100, we really have no influence compared to the influence that they have. Interesting, if you really ever looked into it, when Goldman puts out a rating, right? They put out a great rating on a stock. Who do you think is selling those stocks? I'm not going to give you the answer. When Goldman puts out a bad rating and this stock's about to tank, who do you think buys those stocks right after everybody else sells them and the price goes down? All right. Just keep those things in mind. Okay. This is one of those quotes that I love. You win the battles by knowing the enemy's timing and then using a timing which the enemy doesn't expect. That is how we beat the big banks and the institutions. Okay. Unfortunately, we are not playing on a level playing field. This isn't some type of conspiracy channel. I promise. These are just based on facts, which you're going to see in a minute. And whether you believe it or not that the big banks and the institutions make the news, that's fine. But you gotta believe me, or be on my side that they have somebody in the room sitting next to the guy that's typing the report. They know that news before we do. Let me ask you this. Why is good news always a bad reaction of the market? Which is what we're going to be one of the examples we're going to use today. Why is, on the other side, why is bad news turn out to be a good reaction on the market? Doesn't make sense, right? It's a good question. This is not any, one that I know. One of my favorite memes of the us traders going against the big guys like Goldman Sachs. So again, I want you to ask yourself a question. Do you think that the institutional behavioral patterns exist in the markets? Do you think that there's actual patterns that can be based on time rather than random news and random things that happen every day? Just think about that for a moment, okay? If you've ever done research as far back into trading like I have, and that I've been taught to by Michael and Ron at Back to the Future Trading, some of the biggest names in history like Elliott, Gann, Wyckoff, they all knew that this was going on, but they lacked this. They lack the things that we have today. All these processors and computers that can do hundreds of millions of computations in a minute. I'm just making up a number because I'm not a programmer. But what we do at Back to the Future is not anything that we invented. We just use the programs and the software to make it happen and to level the playing field. So let me ask you, what if you could see into the future? I know it's impossible, right? What if you could see into the future? What if instead of, and I've been there, we've all been there. If you're watching this video, you've been there. We're looking at double tops. We're looking at, oh my goodness, a triple bottom. I know it's going to go up. What if you could ignore all that, and instead of this big question mark being here, you knew what was coming? That'd be a great what if, right? Let's go back to the example that we talked about earlier. You don't need to read everything on this chart. You can email me or text me if you want to see some more pictures. But this is back on 10/5, I believe it was, when the unemployment report came out. If you remember, the unemployment report came out around 8:30 and was a wonderful report. Jobs were up. Unemployment was down. It was a great report. And I know it's hard to see on this one, but you'll be able to see it a little bit better on our next slide. What happened? The market tanked. I know I got some of you thinking now, right? Because why did the market tank with good news? Because as soon as the unemployment report came out, reports came out immediately after about, oh no, now the Fed's going to raise the rate. They said they weren't going to, but now they're going to. Oh, do you know what this is going to do for inflation? This is going to kill inflation. Oh my God, oil's going to go up. Sell, 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 sell. And everybody did like puppets. And then who do you think bought all the stocks down here at the cheapest price? If you're gone, Charlie, all the big banks and institutions, you're 100% right. And then slowly good things come out, little good reports come out throughout the day, and we're all the way back up, way beyond even the previous high of the previous day. And who do you think is selling at this extremely high price that bought down here and that's really low price? You got it. Those big banks and those big institutions. So let me in on a little secret. Let me in on a little secret. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. This is one of our oldest softwares that we have. This is what the company was founded off of 15 years ago. We call it Prime. These numbers have been predicted over time for 15 years. Okay. I want you to look at these yellow arrows here. You can see a buy signal at 10:30. You can see a sell signal at 11. You can see another buy signal at 11:20. And look, when I took this picture at around 10:10, this didn't happen yet. This is in the future. We can do this 9 days into the future. Now that you know that this is real and we can do this in the future, let's circle back up top here to right at 8:20. We put 3 arrows there so you get to see how fancy it is. I don't care if you woke up and had no idea the unemployment report was coming out today. If you had Prime, you saw that at 8:20 you were supposed to sell. The trend was going down. You sold. Guess what? You made a whole lot of money. You had the advantage over the big banks and the institutions. Let me show you Warp, which is what I use. And that pretty little number there. I'm not sure if you can see that on the screen, but that is $3,345 because Warp, now Warp and Prime use different historical data, but still very close, right? Prime was 820, Warp is 827. At 827, I knew that I had a selling pressure coming up. And I got in a trade right here. And I rode that trade this is a 1 minute bar. In 1 minute, made $3,345. Let that sink in for a little bit. All right. So now you know the why of what we do is to level the playing field for people like me and people like you that have no chance against these big banks and these big institutions that are controlling what the market does. Okay. And the what is the software. We're the only company that gives you predictive time signals into the future for buying and selling. We give you rules and trading systems on how to treat those buying systems. We'll give you strategies. And most importantly, we will give you the support for as long as you need it. Okay? So, after watching this video, if you're sitting there going, man, I've been trading for this amount of years and always thought it was weird that this happened or that happened and always felt like whatever. It doesn't have to be gambling. Trading doesn't have to be gambling. You can have the numbers beforehand. And I understand too, no offense to my people, I've watched a million videos. I've tried a million different strategies. I've followed probably 30 people on YouTube who had the best strategy in the world on how to read candles. I now use a system that just tells me what's coming up based on what the banks and the institutions have done in the past 5, 10, 15, 20 years. All right. So that is all I got for you today. We're going to have a lot more videos coming up. I'm going to do some shorts where I basically just share maybe a single trade with you and how I use the time predictive signals. Not really too much strategy. It's mostly just me following and doing what I'm told and following my rules. So stay tuned for some more videos. Again, please click that like and subscribe. Really appreciate you guys being here. I've been in your spot. We love you guys. And really all we want to do is help you get on the same level playing field as the big banks and institutions and stop losing money and giving them money and start making money. All right. Stay tenacious, my traders. We love you. We'll see you. Bye.